Hello there. What's up, dudes? HW here. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning in Nashville. I'm staring out the window here at some beautiful trees behind my house. And there's a creek that goes back behind the house there. And it's full of trees, and the leaves are all starting to change. I see even on the tall ones, the very top ones, they're starting to change. Fall is here, and I got my fall sweater on, and I'm feeling it. Got a little mocha today, iced mocha. It's actually a Premier Protein chocolate. The Premier Protein shakes you can get. I think 160 calories, 30 grams of protein. And then I just mix that with some iced coffee. And guys, I'll tell you, this is better than anything you would buy at Starbucks. It really is. One of those Premier Protein shakes. I don't always add all the Premier Protein shake. I sometimes just do the iced coffee and do half of it. And maybe I'll do that 2 times in a day. That's 30 grams of protein right there. You know what I mean? It's not the same as like eating actual meat, but it helps add on top, you know. If you're trying to hit that protein goal. Really is way cheaper and better than anything you get at Starbucks, I'm telling you. Anyway, I was looking at my taxes, and I was looking at reverb.com, my accountant stuff, and I was doing a little rough math, and I realized I think I've owned about $500,000 or in that neighborhood of gear in my life. Now, you go on HW, what do you got, a dumbbell or something? Or, whoa, cool flex, bro. That's actually not the point of the video. The point of the video is a bit the opposite. Here's what I've learned. The sad truth behind, or the sad truth, realization after owning $500,000 worth of gear. Now, when I say that number, I mean, this is all the buying and selling, right? This is if I add up all the gear I've ever owned. I believe it's about that much. And no, I don't have a dumbbell or something. I don't even have a ton of vintage guitars or something. I've only made one purchase over $10,000, and that was an amp, a vintage Marshall and cabinet. And then the next most expensive thing I ever bought was a vintage Gibson, and it was $6,000. Really, what that $500,000, and that's, I mean, I can't think of anything else I've bought for near that price. 90% of the things I've ever owned, I've purchased for between $1,500 and $2,500. There's maybe 90% or maybe 85. You know, there has been some things that have been, 28 or 29, you know what I mean? Especially with tax and shipping. But I bought a lot of stuff, before it was more expensive, and I've just got a lot of stuff kind of one at a time. And I've always looked for deals and things. And really, it's just been a ton of velocity on buying and selling amps in that $1,500 to $2,500 range, and guitars too, Man, I must own like 25 Sir guitars in my life. And I think I have 3 today, 3 in Erasmus. And, man, I've just had so many, and those things used to be such a great deal, brand new, they were $21.95, and then the super expensive ones, like the special spec ones were like $28. And I would just wait for those things. Dude, I would see guitars on Reverb new. I would watch them, and I'd remember them, and I'd pick them up a year and a half later from somebody used. You know what I mean? Like, because I'd be like, I'm not going to pay the 28 for that, but I'll pay 21. I'll pay 22. You know what I mean? I'll pay 19. And man, I remember I used to be able to just grab a Sir Strat for $1,700, which is great. And so I've done a ton of that. And if you're watching these videos, a lot of you have bought gear from me because I've flipped and done so much of it. Sometimes I made money, sometimes I didn't. But here's what I've really learned. If you 100% remove the price factor, because the price you pay for something really, it changes the way you think. There's a huge bias kind of thing going on with your head. When you spend money on something, you value it more than if you get it free. This is one of the reasons why I actually do a lot of like flash sale discounts. I believe those flash sale discounts have actually gotten way more people to try Tone Junkie products than had I always just done the free download. Because I look at the numbers and I go, I give away 1 or 2, this is not meant to be a commercial, but I give away 1 or 2 free tones from every pack I put out. And the numbers on the people who download those are just not that huge. And it's 100% a psychological thing. I'm charging people money for this, and you can have one or two of those for free. People don't do it. But if I tell you that pack is 90% off, the amount of people that will then give me some money for the whole pack. And the reality is they probably spend most of their time playing those one or two that I would give away for free anyway. I just gave away the secret of my business. Like, don't spend any money. Just download his free stuff. Get the free weekly emails. You'd have it. But that illustrates the truth of things that cost you more, you value more, and you view them differently. You know? You really do. You just view them differently. And things that come to you easily, you don't value as much. You just don't, because there's no cost associated with it. You don't associate it with any hardship or pain or patience or any of those things. And that's a life lesson, isn't it? That really is a life lesson, And so what I've really learned, if I think back and I go, okay, I've owned these very expensive things and these cheap things, I won't lie to you and say there's no correlation between the cost of something and the quality of it. That's true. But I will say this. It's really not about the guitar model. It's about the guitar, and it's about you. And I'll give you two examples of that. I just sold a blue Sir Strat, and it was kind of a rare one. And that guitar is one of the best playing Sir guitars I've ever owned. I never tuned that guitar. I tuned that guitar one time whenever I changed the strings. It never went out of tune. Sure, it was a Floyd, but Floyds have fine tuners for a reason. That guitar never comes out of tune. Somebody just bought that on Reverb. I think a guy named Tyler. And you're getting one of the best Sir guitars. I tried to sell for 28. No one was biting. It's a tough market out there. You are getting a guitar that somebody would. I have played Sir guitars worth 50% and 2 times as much that were not as good guitars as that one guitar. But guess what? It wasn't a guitar for me. I kept loaning it out to people. I played. I could feel it was awesome. The pickups in it were just not what I typically play. I tend to prefer. I do like the pickups. It's just I like a little more traditional thing. They were great. I mean, it was a great guitar. I just wasn't picking it up. Wasn't playing it. Me and it did not have a bond. And I've had other guitars that maybe were not quite as good, but objectively or something, but they just spoke to me. And that's one example of a guitar that it wasn't the guitar for me, but it was an excellent guitar. Absolutely excellent. The bar was, there's literally nothing wrong with that guitar. And the pickups are all Sir pickups. They sound incredible. It's just not the setup I even really want in a guitar. And then over here, this is a Mexican Fender, and I will tell you, it is about the guitar, not necessarily about the model. And I think that's probably less true for amplifiers. But I'll get into that in a second. This guitar, I play more than a custom built big Tex Telly that I have that everyone always tells me sounds great in the videos, because this thing just feels right. It speaks to me. And if you gave me a Sir Telly over this, I wouldn't play that more. I wouldn't prefer that. I'm not even sure I'd trade you for it, because I just really love this green Telly. It's just freaking awesome. It's right off of the shelf. Fender, gave me this. I should tell you that. But they offered me like one of 4 Tellys. They're like, here, pick one. And I'm so glad I chose this one, because I picked up another one and played it, and I was like, that feels pretty good. And then I picked this one up, and the action was a little high. All I did was lower the action. It was perfect. And then it was just like, great. I love these pickups. This thing used, I think you could get these for like $700. It's up there with guitars that are $2,500. Like, it's up there with my Sirs. It's up there with honestly, this is a custom shop guitar. I think these guitars are just as good as each other. I know this one's worth more, but if you ask me which one of these is a better guitar, I mean, I'll tell you why that one is custom shop and stamped with the same stamp that Leo used and blah, 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 blah. And then the pickups, and they're super rare now. You can't get those dual mags anymore. But this is just, this has it. You know what I mean? It just, I'm telling you, man, it's just got the freaking tone. That's the middle position of the neck. And just the ability to sit down and be inspired by something, you know? And what I think happens is when you focus too much on the tone and you don't focus on, you know, what you want to be and who you want to be as a musician, you get lost in all of the options. There's an option paralysis that sets in. And for me, the things I value and the things I want to do is I want to be able to write good melodies and maybe speak on the guitar and have a voice. And, you know, for me, what's way more important than which guitar you're playing is, you know, what's your style and how are you constructing, you know, melodies and phrases. And so to me, what's more important than the $500,000 in gear, because if you told me money is really no object and I took everything away, and I really could remove my bias of the money. This guitar was $5,000. This guitar was $500, and I just put it all away. If I just put it all away, that's Sweetwater calling. Their stock is going down as you watch this video because I'm right there like, oh my God, we're gonna lose our best customer. If you remove all that, I really do have guitars that are worth 1/3 as much as other guitars that are better guitars and every bit as good. And if you remove all that and go, what gear do you actually want to play if you could only own one thing? Like if the house burned down and they gave you the cash, you know, and or if the house burned down, they didn't give you the cash and you had to like, you were really short and you're like, what am I going to get back? You know, how much do I actually need to get back the rig I want? And to play out and stuff like that. And I'll separate that a little bit, play out, because what I take all the time when I play out is just a Kemper player and like a guitar like this, right? And so a player or a stage. And so really I could replace both of these for $1,500 and I could do the you know, the sets. But if you're really saying what I want, all I want is something like a Klon and a Tube Screamer. You could put that together in a pedal for me. Like there's a couple. I take a J-Rocket Archer and some sort of Tube Screamer. Like it doesn't really matter what. You could put them together. There's like the Nordvang if you wanted to spend more money. That's my point. Is like the Nordvang isn't better than the other two just wired up together. Like a J-Rocket Archer you can get used right now for like $99, you know? And then I don't know, an East River Drive has always been a great Tube Screamer to me. Those you can get like $69. So those are the only drives. And then for me, it'd be Tonex and an HX Stomp, or it would be a Kemper player, you know, and the speaker for it, a Tonex cab or a Kemper cab, and a couple guitars, you know, one like this, one like that. So when you add all that up and you think of what that is, like 3, 4, you know, maybe that's $1,200 for the, let's go with the Kemper stuff here. It'd be actually a lot less if you do the Tonex and the HX style. Well, maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, you get, let's call it $1,000 or let's call it $1,200 for the pedals. And then if you gave me another $1,000 for the guitars, or $1,300 for the guitars, I'd end up getting a used something like this. And then maybe I'd splurge and get like one Sir, because those are incredible. But if I didn't do that, maybe I'd get this, and then I'd get I could go with other stuff like a Fesley and stuff, but I'm talking about what I would actually really want. I'd probably go with that Sir. I'd probably go with a Sir Strat or something. And at that point, we're talking about 2000. Without the Sir Strat, we're really talking about this and that stuff. We're talking about $2,000 rig. If you get the Sir, you're really to me, that's the rig I would play. That's what I really want. We're at $4,000 basically, is what I think we're at. We're at like $4,000. And so I'm just saying that $4,000 is less than 1% of everything I've owned, and the cost of all that gear and all this like rare unobtainium stuff. I've got a Klon. I've got 1 million Klon clones. They sound the same, man. It's not, and it's not. It's like this kind of a street. There's no magic in it. It's just hype. It's just the internet. It's just the internet toxic, sort of like you need more, be a consumer. It's easier to look at pedals, and it's maybe more dopamine rewarding to look at pedals than it is to just actually play the guitar. And what I'm more interested in is saying like, hey, what's my style? Well, here's my style. I want to develop melodies, and I want to think about them like this. I really want to work on, to me, when I noodle on the guitar, I know a bunch of riffs and stuff. And so the biggest tell though for me is if I play like this, check it out. See, that sounds like just guitar playing, right? And what hits my ear about that is why. Is like, well, it doesn't sound vocal because the runs and the parts have very little difference in the value of the note. Meaning, when I'm doing eighths, it's a lot of eighths. When I'm playing sixteenths, it's a lot of sixteenths. Da 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 da. Da 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 da, right? It's a lot of that. But melodies tend to breathe and have these longer pauses, right? So when I'm trying to write melodies, I tend to go like this, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like melodic idea. Play with it a little bit. Melodic, like iterate on it. Play some guitar stuff, right? Iterate, do the thing. Say something else. Get into the guitar, Get into the. But then go back to the melodic idea that we've introduced. You know what I'm saying? right? Begin to iterate. Right? Go back to those ideas. And they don't have to be great ideas. They don't have to, it doesn't have to be, the things are real simple. And that's, to me, that combined with like, I want to have a great touch. I love having a touch on the guitar, like. It's like sneaking some notes in there. It's like, did you hear that? Some are like, right? But then little ones. There we go. It's just little things like that, dynamically, to like sneak them in there as they pass. Maybe it's not just a passing little thing; it's also a little down in the dynamics, right? And that has nothing to do with the guitar you're on. It has to do with you, right? And there are intricacies and there are things that you hear on amplifiers, but if you're not playing those little things that would pop out and come out, and if you're not kind of if you're not in a position where you're going to be able to appreciate what that amplifier is doing in the first place, what's the point of spending the money on it? So I just go to like, it's really, do I regret owning all that gear? No. I wanted to understand what the difference between all the Fender amps were, right? And the only way to do that is to like get them all and play them all. And I've discovered where there's, I think, tremendous value. The Japanese stuff from the 80s is still, I think, underpriced, tremendous value guitars. But it's supply and demand. There's a lot of them, and there's a lot of great ones, and there's a lot of not so great ones. And so buying and selling is a way to find the great ones. But at the end of the day, you can just find one really great one, and you can do everything all the time, forever. And the truth is, it's kind of like Harry Potter. The wand chooses the wizard. You don't choose the wand chooses you. It's like, I'm actually really thankful that how I got this guitar, because it's a guitar that I would have overlooked. And so I'm really glad I found it. And I really dig it. I really love it. And it's a guitar that's been inspiring to me. And that's really, I think, what you should be after. I would pay twice as much, 3 times as much for a guitar that's inspiring to play and that brings something else out in me. And because what I've found is that other people hear things in your playing and stuff, and they have a good take on you as a player, but it's difficult to listen to yourself. And so a guitar that you go, oh, it kind of plays itself, or it has this quality, or I just want to play these things. It's bringing out something that you as a player have in there that you haven't been able to get out or push out or develop. And that's really valuable. That's like, I don't know. It's like you're on the basketball court, they just pass you a new ball and you go, dang, I love this ball. It's like, do you think you're going to play better or worse? And it's like, you're probably not going to play worse. You might not actually play better. It didn't make you a better player. But if things just feel right, if you go, these shoes are comfortable. I love this team. This ball, I love this ball. Oh, good. We don't have that other crappy ball that I dislike. It's like the mind becomes clear to just do your thing. Does that make sense? To just do your thing. That's what I've learned, man. Forget the money. Forget the gear. Forget all that. culture of like, you got to get this new colorway on this pedal, this new overdrive, this new Maris, this, that. Nothing against Maris, nothing against Strymon. I'm just saying there's always another $600 or $800 box that does a long reverb with octave trail things that, like, I guess I need.